Welcome to the Clyde Coast and Garnock Valley Crematorium. Thank you for joining us for this year's festive service. Kindness, compassion and caring for the community is at the heart of everything we do here, and together with the legacy of the tree is the theme for this year's service. Your heart messages from previous years have already been placed onto our tree, and this year's messages will be placed onto the tree as part of today's service. We plant a tree for every service here, and over time, these trees will grow to create a collective memory for the community. So please, come in and let us begin.
Hello. This is the third year that our group of Humanist Society Scotland celebrants has worked with the crematorium to offer a non-religious festive ceremony. This year, though, the pandemic has prevented it from happening live. We have to think digitally. And that's brought with it some wonderful creative opportunities, enabling us to offer this ceremony to all of you, not just those who can get to this gentle place. And what's more, it's offered us the chance to include some good friends who have made a lockdown festive music video especially for us. Compassion means to empathise with another person's suffering and to feel compelled to try to ease their pain. And at this festive time of year and in this year of pandemic, compassion matters more than ever.
This has been a tough year. I don't need to tell you about the damage and difficulties this pandemic has caused. And now here we are at the festive season, and we're more aware than ever of the challenges many people are facing. I know most of you watching today have recently had a bereavement, so to be dealing with grief, as well as lockdowns and restrictions, must make the road ahead seem dim indeed. Feelings of grief and loss are especially hard during the festive season when someone is missing. And the pressure to put on a brave face can become too much. Forced merriment can leave you feeling even more isolated. So perhaps it's time to turn that kindness and the need to give towards yourself. It's puzzling, isn't it? Why do we respond to friends and even strangers with understanding, patience and compassion, and yet we find it hard to be gentle with ourselves? Self-compassion is not self-pity or indulging oneself. It's not self-centred, it's not weak. Perhaps now is the time to give yourself the same encouragement you might offer to others in need of support. Be forgiving of your emotions and nurse your hurting heart through this rocky journey. Allow yourself space and time to remember and connect with your loved one's memory. Acknowledge the pain and find ways to take care of yourself and heal. In the words of Misha Collins, be kind to yourself so that you can be happy enough to be kind to the world.
Once upon a time, there was a village where the people dreaded the raw, bitter creeping of darkness that came with winter. And so they decided to create an orchestra. Every midwinter, they had a huge and glorious concert. People would come from far and wide to hear the heart tug of the strings, the spirit-lifting swell of the brass, the proud booming pound of the drum, and the playfulness of the percussion. The local children would join in with their triangles, creating the magical sounds of icicles falling to herald the turn of the year and the promise of spring. The orchestra was to know great fame and fortune. When the conductor died, everyone mourned the person who had led and inspired so many. Gradually, as time passed and the days got shorter, the orchestra started to pick up their instruments again, knowing that the village needed them. Except no one could find the percussionist. After a long search, they found him in the house of the haunted. It was dark and sad and dusty, and the orchestra cajoled and argued with the percussionist to come back with them to the light and the warmth, to become part of the orchestra again. But the percussionist said nothing, wrapping grief around like a cloak. And so gradually, frustrated, the friends gave up and left. The percussionist liked the silence, but after a while realised that the saxophonist had never left, but was sitting close by in silence in the shadows. The percussionist glowered at the saxophonist, and the saxophonist said, "I won't talk if you don't want me to. I'll just be here." And so they sat in silence, day after day, hour after hour, until the darkest day struck midnight. Then, in the cold quiet, the saxophonist heard the faintest triangle.
In the bleak midwinter, frosty winds made moan. Earth stood hard as iron, water like a stone. Snow has fallen, snow on snow, snow on snow. In the bleak midwinter, long ago. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride. If I have things you need to borrow, of your needs that you won't lend You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. If there's a load you have to bear that you can carry, I'm right up the road. I'll share your load if you just call me. Call me if you need a friend. If you need a friend. If you need a friend.
At this ceremony last year, it had only been a few weeks since I had lost my mum, so perhaps not surprisingly, I talked about her. But the past year has been incredibly difficult for everyone, and so I decided to talk about another woman who had meant so much to me in my life. My gran. My mum's mum was Lizzie, known in her Falkirk village as Mrs. Shackleton. Through the Women's Royal Voluntary Service, my gran worked with the Territorial Army, the trolley shop in Falkirk Royal Infirmary. She did the mother and baby clinics at the local doctor surgeries, and on Saturday mornings, my gran and I would go around everyone's houses in Madison collecting the money for the National Savings Bank. In the days when the only phones were in boxes on the street, this was my gran's way of making sure that anyone who was vulnerable was looked after. At night time, before she went to bed, she knocked twice on the fireside wall to make sure Mrs. Bryce was all right. Nellie would reply with 2 knocks. When I was wee, I thought this was a game. My gran wasn't really one for the phone. She liked to look at you when she was talking to you, and she liked to listen through the silences. She could tell what you weren't saying. She had something that technology lacks: empathy, understanding, and care that only love can bring. So as we go through the winter months, I've decided I'm going to do it Mrs. Shackleton's way, because she was right. A note through the door to see who's coming out the back for a cup of tea, so we can all see each other's faces, listen for the silences, and so that everyone knows that we're all there for each other and that we care. Bring your own cup.
In this place of love and goodbyes, a tree is planted. Every time a loved one leaves, a tree is planted. An act of love, of legacy. This beautiful and wild moor can see Arran on a good day. And the beasts of the farm surround us are friends. And on a bright, starry, moonlit night so long ago, a burning flight was lost, all now in nature, gone home. Our trees will grow here, nourished by this marshy land. Ancient species coming back to life because you loved. Our planet is being healed here. And so, every Yuletide, we share kindness with you, and as you share your loving thoughts of those who've gone before. You said goodbye here. And now you place your messages on this tree, Once a sapling, now a strong and gentle symbol of December. We have come full circle. Love is the legacy of the tree.
Have yourself a merry